Welcome back to Any Given Monday. This is truly an exciting guest. Bryce Morrison, the founder of Dad Water, Mom Water, our newest sponsor. And I hate to start this off with a serious take, Bryce, because I try not to be too serious, but it's companies like yourself that allow me to do this. So, first of all, just thank you. I can't thank you enough for your support.
Absolutely, man. Big golf fan, big golfer, fan of yours. I'm really glad we were able to, Chris, credit to him for kind of finding things. He's great at figuring these things out and finding the right partnerships. And, he brought it to the table and everybody was like, yeah, we're in. So love it. Appreciate the opportunity.
Awesome. Let's start with how did you start this? How did you get into the alcoholic drink business? Where did it start?
Bit of a wild story. The kind of Cliff Notes version is Jill and I were at a resort back in 2018 in the Dominican, and she stumbled across this passion fruit infused water, and she would hydrate with it every day. She liked it so much by the end of the week, she was filling up her Yeti. She'd go to the bar and just say, hey, you know what? Can you just put a little vodka in here? I don't want to taste it, but I want to keep drinking this water because it's so refreshing. So when we got back home, she and her friends were drinking seltzers that summer because they were blowing up. And she looked at me and said, hey, how can I recreate that thing in the Dominican? We like these seltzers, but we feel terrible at the end of the day. So she started making these little concoctions in like a Dasani water bottle. She would take a little swig of the water out, replace it with some flavored vodka, throw it in the cooler. And all her friends started noticing she was drinking these water bottles. They know her well enough to know she wasn't drinking water. Which then, they would try it. They really liked it. So these little water bottles kind of started popping up a little bit everywhere. There'd be some in the fridge and the cooler. And we do have 3 kids. And inevitably they, accidentally pulled one of these out thinking it's a Dasani and took a swig, which prompted me to ask her like, hey, can you maybe do something and make sure these are marked differently? So she took a pen, she scribbled mom on all of her water bottles. And, kudos, technically her friends came up with the term. They started calling it Jill's mom water because she was always seen drinking out of one of these Dasanis that said mom. So kudos to her. She's the one who originally kind of came up with the concept and the idea. And she came to me and said, we should do this. And I'm like, by do this, what do you mean? She's like, we should make it. She said, it doesn't exist in the market. My friends love it. And we got a name. We could call it mom water. And I was like, yeah, that all sounds great, but no way. It didn't seem conceivable. It didn't seem doable. It's impossible. And about 9 to 10 months of convincing, finally, I was like, I agree. Like it has legs, but we were both in healthcare. I was in kind of sales and marketing for a hospice. She worked at a nursing home and she ran their therapy department. And so we didn't have any background at all. And so I kind of finally said, okay, let's see what we can do. And one thing led to another. And now here we are, we're a top 13 brand nationally and still trying to figure out our way. We are in the most crowded category in alcohol. It's cutthroat, it's wild, and we don't have quite the pocketbook of all the big players, but we compete with them. So it's been fun and it's been a crazy ride.
Are you both not working anymore outside of Mom and Dad Water?
Correct. So we started the project in January of 2020, which go figure, about 3 months later, when COVID hits. It took us about a year and a half to get it to shelves. And so we sold our first case in Indiana in March of 21. Kentucky came on board the month later. And by the end of that year, so within 6 months, we had seen like the sales just kind of took off very organically, a lot of TikTok, a lot of virality. And we had our longtime friend, John Bell. He kind of approached us and we were talking. He loved the idea, the concept. He'd sampled. He was like, listen, he's like, I think you should technically take this thing kind of to the moon. He's like, if you ever want help, I'm in. He had just kind of semi-retired. He owns another company and he had the know-how. I'm very right brain. I'm a very unorganized but creative individual. And John is kind of the exact opposite. He is super organized. He understands the operations and creativity wasn't his thing. And so great pairing between Jill, John, and myself. And so we brought him on board within about 6 or 7 months. And first thing he said, he invested, he's a part owner now with us. And he was like, listen, guys probably should consider quitting your job. We got a lot of work to do. Yeah. And So within 2 months, we had quit our job of John coming on board. So by the end of that year of releasing our first case, we had quit, hired my sister, who is now our CEO, and hired my longtime friend Jason to help run our sales, and we were kind of off to the races.
I assume it had to be like whirlwind. I mean, again, we talk often about companies that align with what I do. Like, I had no idea this was going to be a thing. My son had brain surgery, and I've never gone back to work. I assume it had to be a whirlwind. Like, whoa, what the hell has happened? And all of a sudden, I was just like in sales in a hospital, and now I'm selling, mom water to people.
It still is. It doesn't get old. It doesn't. I don't even know if 3.5, 4 years later it's really sunk in. Because like I said, our jobs were very, very different. Our lives were very different. We find ourselves now working all the time. Obviously, stress in different ways, but at the same time, we're at country music fests and we're in golf courses. Like, it's a lot more fun because where there's alcohol, there's usually fun. So it's kind of wild, very surreal.
So I have some cans here. I'll start with Mom Water, but they have names. Are the names friends of Jill's, or are these just okay?
Some have no meaning. Like the first 4 that we did, again, we really didn't think this would be a thing. We were kind of almost making it for ourselves and hoping we can get it on shelves locally. So the first ones were kind of random. Like Linda came from a YouTube video with a little boy pleading with his mom, like, "Listen, Linda." It's the Listen, Linda YouTube video.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So we picked Karen before the meme, and then the meme happened. We just kept it. Now the most recent one. So Kathy, the one you got, that's my mom. So we did not put our names on the can. So Jill was like, "I don't want my name on a can." So Julie, the original flavor, was the only one with any meaning. That's her alter ego. That's what our kids call her sometimes. And so now, Louise is our brand new flavor. That's Jill's mom. John's mom is Mary. John's wife, Bobby. Carol is her mom, and my mom is Kathy. So we also have community voted ones. So our social community has voted on some. We just ran a contest for new flavors in the future to name one after a mega fan. So we try to involve, we have a really, really rabid and cool community of followers and fans. And so we really try to get them involved as much as we can.
And I assume, Bryce, that really differentiates you in a super crowded space, right? Is like, instead of like, oh, I'm going to have, lime, or I'm going to have blood orange, you're like, I'm going to have a name, right? Like, it differentiates you in a tough space.
Yeah, big time. And what's funny is, so that was, again, we joke, Jill's the inside of our mom water cans. I'm more the outside. I'm more creative. And so when we started, I was like, if we're going to do this and it's called Mom Water, it needs to be a celebration of motherhood and moms, all thing mom. So the flavor should be secondary to maybe these, let's give these cans personality. Yeah. And so we decided to put a name with each flavor, and wasn't really sure if it would work. I'm like, it might not come off that way. People might think it's corny. Well, turns out it's one of the cooler things that happens. And it doesn't get old at all going and hearing someone at a bar go up and say, "I need 2 Lindas, a Karen, and a Susan," or a Gary or a Rodney or a Tom. It has become kind of our calling card, and it's really cool. And I think our fans get it. I mean, it's honestly the hardest thing to do is not develop a flavor. It's to pick a name for that flavor.
Yeah. So how far along in this process was Dad Water? Was Dad Water an addition to Mom Water, or was it always like, hey, eventually we'll have Dad Water?
We really never thought we would do Dad Water. We did trademark it back in the day, but that was only to protect Mom Water, protect somebody else from maybe trying to use Dad Water. But then we kept getting this question every time we were sampling, and it'd be usually a guy about my age, like, "Wait, where's Dad Water?" And we would just kind of blow it off and like, "That's beer or bourbon or whatever." And so we finally said, there might be something here. The only thing missing from the Mom Water brand, obviously, is, it is a very feminine brand. It's for moms. It's supposed to be that way. So we're like, maybe some guys don't want to drink out of a paint can, but they like the concept of what we're doing, which is spirit water. And so that's kind of how it was born. And when we started it, I do like tequila. I like a lot of spirits. But a lot of people now are really wanting to get into tequila. There's a lot better tequila options than when I was younger. And there's a lot more ways to drink tequila, but really no one has gotten a tequila RTD, like canned drink, right. It's either a margarita or they carbonate it. And so we wanted this to be a little more about the tequila, make it drinkable, and try to substitute something that gives you light beer vibes, but no carbonation, so you can drink a bunch. They're light on flavor, just like your light beer. And so that's kind of what we set out to do. We launched about a year and a half ago, kind of soft. We made a lot of mistakes. We always do. We made a lot of mistakes when we launched with Dad Water. The variety pack on the outside was really just not good from a design standpoint. It blended in too much, didn't say what the product was. So really this year is almost like a complete relaunch of the brand. Like, we have a lot of fans out there and we did pretty good, but we would sample it and we'd sell out. You put it on a shelf and it would sit. People weren't finding the product. Yeah, they didn't know what it was. So we went through, did a complete rebranding this year. So really this is almost like ground zero for us, because now that the packaging is in the market, a lot bigger pull, a lot better things happening. And we also have a focus on Dad Water this year. We just kind of set it in the market and let it go. We're doing things like this.
Yeah. So basically what you did was, like, at these events, as you went, you'd be like, yeah, Mom Water is super popular. And then when the guy asks, you're like, yeah, we do have Dad Water. And now it's kind of a focus. So let's go through the few that I've sent. Bryce and his team, Chris and his team sent me a bunch. This is Tom, Steve, my favorite, Rodney, and Gary. Those are the four I have. They're, awesome. I played golf yesterday, and it's perfect, right? It's like, back to your point, is like, I'm a bourbon drinker, drink Jack and Coke, and like super heavy. You drink like 3 of them, you're buzzed already, you're feeling full, you have a ton of calories. So this is perfect. Like, it was, warm out yesterday, and that's kind of it. I assume, Bryce, is like football, whatever, tailgating, hanging out at home, or if you just want to have a couple at night, it's not like a heavy beer where you're just like sitting in your gut.
Exactly. And the crazy thing is, like, when we started it, we're like, well, these are going to be probably a lot of tequila drinkers are going to like it. But then what we started seeing were folks like yourself that maybe like highballs, or a lot of light beer drinkers. Like, weirdly enough, Busch Light, Miller Light, like all those light beers. I had buddies that were like, I don't like Mom Water. They drink beer, light beer. Mm-hmm. And they're like, I like these Dad Waters. I don't understand why. We kind of sat down and we talked about it a little bit, and when you really think about it, it does kind of make sense. Again, it goes back to, why are you drinking Busch Light? Well, you're not drinking Busch Light because of flavor. It's a very lightly flavored beer. If you like big, bold flavor, you're drinking IPAs and stouts and things like that. Busch Light's meant to be crushable, meant to be able to session a bunch of them, always have something in your hand, and you can drink them and you don't necessarily feel terrible at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. Exact same thing for Dad Water. It gives you that without having to, if you want something other than beer, what kind of scratches that itch, if you will. Right. And Dad Water kind of does. You can drink, you can drink more of them. They're lighter, they're light on flavor. And so, it's, and now we just come out with 6 packs of individual flavors. So, because we have a lot of guys who are like, I don't know about the variety pack, but they're like, I drink that Tom or that Gary all day long, Rodney, Steve. So, it's interesting. We're seeing a lot of those folks that maybe just haven't had an option that are starting to kind of go, let me try one of these. Even though I'm not a tequila guy, they try it and they're like, wow, I like these for some reason. So
awesome. Let's talk about Roger. So if you're listening to this pod, Roger's probably on before this. Roger Sloan, Canadian PGA Tour, back on the Corn Ferry Tour. He's kind of been back and forth. It kind of where Bryce's employee Chris got a hold of me and why it's a great partnership for me. It's good content for me to kind of follow Roger. So how did that relationship come about, Bryce?
Yeah. So early on, somebody from the PGA kind of reached out, and they'd had some of our Mom Water drinks, and they were like, these are great. And they seem like a golf course drink, because golf is usually hot weather. You're sweating all day, and these things are almost like hydrating and refreshing. And we're like, yeah, we agree. So we were trying to decide, do we partner with the tour and do like event-based stuff, or do we partner with a player? And we really wanted that to partner with the player side. So they kind of gave us a big list of a bunch of players. And we said, we'd love it if they got a little bit of social. We'd love it if their wife is kind of involved somehow, because we're mom water at the time. We were mostly mom water. Actually, we're all mom water. And so we started looking at them, and honestly, with Roger, we were like, we weren't looking for a top player. Like, that's not we can't afford a top player, and B, we're like, we like to find good humans. We like to find just good, genuinely good people. That's who we hire, and that's who we want to partner with, which is why we're here. And so with Roger, they were like, he's one of the best guys you'll ever meet. His wife is the head of the PGA Wives Association. She kind of helps run that charity and everything else. We're like, man, that sounds like a great person. From the first call, from the first time, Roger was just kind of like, hey, we kind of got burnt by an agent back in the day, so it's just us. And he's like, we do our own things, and we try to find people that believe in us and that want to be long-term partners. And we were like, that's what we're looking for. Like, we're looking for people that we can partner with, but it's not a corporate partnership. It's a friendship between you and our team. And that's really what it's become. We support him every year, no matter what. Our budgets change sometimes. And so we've gone from shirt to hat to shirt, but we're always wanting to do something. And to our discredit, what we don't know is we're not great at activating partnerships. We have them, and that was just us not understanding how to do that. And that's where Chris has come into play. He understands that, which is, he was like, we should, full swing is a big deal. It's bringing more people into golf. They get to see a different side of players, and really, but what it doesn't do is it doesn't do that for all the players you might not know about. It does it for players that you already kind of know, and now you're getting to know them better. So we were like, man, wouldn't it be great if we could let more people understand and meet Roger and know who he is as a person, because they'll instantly be a fan. So that's kind of how we got here. He's been, PGA Korn Ferry, and we have been as sponsors for, I want to say this is our 4th year now, maybe. So yeah, it's a great friendship, great partnership. Text him. It's, today, I don't know when the podcast is airing, but it's his birthday today. So
yeah, all right.
Morning, and so it's a great partnership.
So what's the goal? I mean, what is the ultimate goal, Bryce? Or is it even like, for me, like, there's an ultimate goal, but it's not even a part of my day to day, because it's just like, head down, let's go sell, some Monday Q stuff. So like, is there an ultimate goal just to grow what you're doing? Yeah.
We kind of think we have a chance to maybe create a bit of a legacy, maybe for our kids, for our friends, like things like that, our family. And really, it's just, we're not necessarily big money hungry folks. That's not what motivates us. We don't have to grow 200, 100% every year and everything else. Yes, I'm a competitive person by nature. I want to win. We want to continue to grow, but we're also good with nice, slow, steady growth. We want our brand to be around for a long time. It's not something we're necessarily looking to just flip and get out of it. It's a really tough industry. I mean, a really tough industry, and we've grown organically like crazy for years. And now it's really hard to grow, because you have everyone throwing all their money into this category of alcohol. So really for us is to continue to grow, to continue to kind of build our team and, creep our way up the list. We want to do 1 million cases in a calendar year. We're doing it on a rolling month. We're right at about 1 million case brand. But we have a fraction of the distribution of most of our competition. And so that's really our thing, is continuing to go wide. We want to grow the Dad Water brand even more. And we have all kinds of fun innovations on the horizon for next year and the years beyond. So that, kind of like you, there's really, I don't know that I'd call it being an ultimate goal. We just know we want to continue to grow this. And every time we get to do a partnership or we get to hire someone, we feel like we have a chance to maybe change someone's life for the better.
Give me the 1 minute. What is your sales pitch, Bryce, to someone who has never tried it? When you're standing in front doing a tasting or whatever that is, what is the 1 minute pitch on Dad Water? What is it?
I'll always ask them if they've tried it first. If they've not, I say, listen, this is going to drink like water. We don't do any bubbles. We don't do any sweetener. We're the only product on the market that's known of that doesn't do any carbonation and any kind of sweetener, no artificial, nothing. It's going to drink like spa water. So if you take, I always say for the dab water, if you took a tequila and you proof that tequila down, you added enough water to where it's now just 5.25%, very light tequila flavor, mostly water. And then you took a little bit of fruit and you just squeezed a few drops in it, just to where like the fruit's been sitting in the water. You get just enough of that, but you're going to taste a little tequila, a little fruit, and it's going to drink like a can of water. That's really what we are. We're going for light, easy drinking, sessionable, and something that at the end of the day, and especially the next morning, you don't feel quite as bad. Like that's, at the end of the day, you're drinking a can that's like 95% water. And that's what we are. We're calling it spirit water. Inadvertently, we created a category of alcohol. No one knew they still really don't know what to do with us. We're not a seltzer. We're not a ready to drink cocktail. We're not a cocktail. We're not a tea. We're not a lemonade. We're not a beer. What are we? So we've coined the term spirit water. Mom water is the original and number one spirit water, and dad water is really the number two spirit water. So we have that category we've created. So a lot of education required for our products to know what you're getting into. But man, the one thing is when people go in with an open mind and they try it, their eyes are kind of open, because the more that you drink them, the more you get it.
Yeah. I assume you went into this, Bryce, with like, oh, hey, here's mom water, where it's going to be, and where's dad water going to be. What's the craziest place you've heard that mom water was or dad water has been? Like, you're like, oh, it'll never be there. And you're like, holy shit, someone at the Kentucky Derby is drinking it, or whatever. Where's the craziest spot you've seen it or get requested for it?
Well, we've had a few. We've had a lot of people love to smuggle a mom water somewhere and send us a picture. I remember back in the day that was the first time we saw it in Hawaii, which was really cool. We've seen it in maybe even, I don't know that we've seen it in another country yet, because it's hard to get some of that through customs. But, honestly, some of it was like some of the stadiums. Like we got brought into a few stadiums really early on. Gainbridge Fieldhouse, we're a partner of the Pacers. And every time we go to a game, as much as I'm watching the game and I'm a huge, Pacers fan, I'm also watching the crowd. And every time I see somebody with a mom water walk by, we love it. We have company parties there a lot of times, and we'll have a box for our employees. And, we've had folks before, we call them out in the crowd and we're like, we love you. We've all got mom water Pacers jerseys. So, that kind of stuff. It happens all the time. It's an absolute blast. I think one of the neater placements that we've got just happened very recently, which is PopStroke. PopStroke brought us in nationally. They approached us for mom water because it is our core brand right now. And, they only carry like 3 or maybe 4 canned drinks nationally. And they're a huge account. They're a perfect account for us. Again, it's golf. If you're a golfer, you probably understand our product better than the average consumer, because we're in hot weather. We're there for a long period of time. We still want to drink, but it gets harder as the day goes on. So PopStroke is a really cool one. We did a bunch of Mother's Day activations with them, and it's going great. And we love that one.
Awesome. Bryce, exciting things ahead. Roger is awesome. And Roger and I have been friendly prior to this. So an easy partnership for me. I love the fact that, again, we've talked about this. Chris and I have talked about this a lot, is like our stories align. I love being associated with companies like that. Like I was running a group of restaurants, and somehow I have a podcast and YouTube channel and my own company of reporting golf stories. And so the fact that 2 healthcare employees now own their own, spirit water company is a wild trip. So thank you. Thanks for the time. Thanks for the partnership. And I can't wait to get started. Absolutely. Appreciate you. Appreciate everything you do. And it's going to be a fun year. Can't wait to see what all pops up. And we're going to have some fun.